Welcome to SolidCAM Professor. I'm Sydney, your SolidCAM Professor, with one of many videos available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In this session, we'll show the use of SolidCAM 2.5D milling to machine the part as shown on our screen. The machining will be performed on a 3-axis CNC machine in 2 setups using 2 SolidCAM coordinate systems. Let's first take a look at our coordinate system manager, and we can see that we have 2 home positions. Our first one being at the top of the part over here, and the second one being on the flip side to clean off the bottom of the part in a separate holding fixture. In our first operation, we'll be using face mill to machine the top of this part over here. If I were to open up the operation, you'll see that we'll be using a 100 millimeter face mill, and our geometry is the entire boundary of the part. The technology that we'll be using will be of 1 pass, since the tool is wider than the part itself. And if we take a look at the simulation, you can see that the tool will come down and remove the material in 1 pass. In our next operations, we'll be dealing with the pockets that we have in this area over here, as well as this pocket going down up until there. For that, we've used a pre-drill operation as shown over here, and these 2 pocket operations. Now, let's first go into the first pocket operation, and you can see that I've used a tool of 10 millimeters in diameter. The geometry itself is up until this step going down over here. And if I go into my technology, you'll see that we'll be leaving a 0.2 millimeter offset on the wall. And if I go into my simulation, you can see that the tool goes down into the part and mills out that pocket. You'll also note that when it went down into the part, it went directly into that hole. That's because we used a pre-drill operation. If we take a look at the pre-drill operation, you can see we have a geometry which is created automatically by the pocket itself, taking us directly exactly where the 10 millimeter end mill will be starting its tool path. Taking a look at the simulation over here, you'll see that the drill goes directly into that part itself. And if I were to run again the simulation of that pocket, you'll see again that the tool goes directly into that hole. In our next operations, I would like to work on the outside of the part itself. So for that, we've done a profile operation, one going down up until the step over here, and the next one going all the way down from this step to the very bottom, going around those steps as well. The tool that was used inside the operation was a 10 millimeter end mill, and we've left 0.2 millimeters offset on the walls. In our next operation, we'll be working on this area as shown over here using the toolbox option of spiral open slot wide. This allows me to cut with an end mill going across the slot itself, as shown over here. And as we've seen the diagram over here, we will have side steps clearing off the rest of the material up until the wall itself. We'll be using a 10 millimeter end mill, and in our technology, we'll be going to the end of the wall. We'll be finishing off the wall itself. Taking a quick look at the simulation, you can see the tool goes down with the spiral cuts as shown over here, and then working on each wall until it finishes off the part. The next 2 operations will be finishing off these rounded corners over here on the outside, as well as the rounded corners that we have inside over here, as the previous tool that worked over there could not finish off those areas, being that the tool was too large for those corners. So for that, we've used the option of rest material. If we look inside the operation itself, you can see that we'll be using a smaller end mill of 5 millimeters. And in our technology area, we've used the option of rest, telling it that the previous tool diameter was 10 millimeters and 0.2 millimeters was left as far as excess material. Taking a look at the simulation for these two operations, you can see that the tool goes down in the first operation cleaning those corners, and then in the next operation it'll go around, and besides cleaning these corners, it also cleans off with the same tool the rest of the walls as well. In the next few operations of operation 16 and 17, they are doing semi-finish and finish cuts on the part itself, as shown over here, as well as 15 and 14. All of these operations are the same as in the previous operations, except that they're doing a finish operation on those geometries. In the next three operations, we'll be also working around the edges over here, except these operations will be adding a chamfer onto the edges over here. If we take a look at one of them, you can see that the tool itself is a 2 millimeter chamfer drill, and we'll be going to a depth of 1 millimeter to create these chamfers. Taking a look at the simulation itself, you can see that the tool will go down, put a chamfer on those edges, breaking those edges over there. And the same is done with the next operations. Now, the next operations up until the end of this particular setup on this coordinate system will be drilling operations, starting off with the spot drills for the holes themselves, and then going on to the regular drilling operations with the appropriate size for each one of these holes. Now, going on to our next setup, holding it on the second side with our second coordinate system, we'll be doing a face mill operation, again in one pass, to take off the excess material on that side. And we'll also be doing a chamfer operation to create a chamfer on these edges over here, as well as the edge around over here. Now, if we take a look at the entire part in our simulation, you'll see that the part is milled out from all sides, as shown over here, as well as side 2 if I were to flip the part. And you can also see that the chamfer was done over here as well. For more videos on SolidCAM Professor, please go to our website, www.solidcam.com, and look for the tab called SolidCAM Professor. Thank you for joining us on SolidCAM Professor. Take care and have a nice day.